Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a spring flower, seeing as it's not quite spring yet because we've only just gone into February. So I'm going to do a snowdrop because they are the first flowers that are out in my garden and in the park. So I'll take you down to my board. So I'll show you one of the flowers that I've done. This is one of the flowers here. I've got yet to dust my wires on these and the backs of the flowers, but that's one of the flowers, and I've done one of the buds which I've already bent over. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do, and also the leaves as well. That's one of the leaves that I've made, which are very fine leaves. These are a lot smaller than they are in real life. The trouble is, in real life they are quite big leaves, and they can tend to, when you're doing them in sugar around flower arrangements, they tend to be a bit ugly. So what I'm going to do is start off with the centre first. So I've got a stamen here, which is a pointed ended stamen, anything that you've got. And I'm doing this way because when I made the flowers that I've just shown you, I did make a centre with flower paste, and the problem with that is that it was quite big, and it was a lot bigger than I wanted to when I came to put the flowers on it. I'm just going to take some of that paste off the back of there and just rearrange that round there. Basically I want something for the flowers to hang, the petals to hang on to. That's what I'm putting that there for. Then what you can do with that is to get a 26 gauge wire or whatever else you're using, either 26 or 28. These are 28s because I couldn't lay my hands on any 28s. I'm using some quarter width tape, but if you haven't got a quarter width tape, half width tape will be fine. Start that off on your wire. Just get the sticky side. That's it, that side. And just get that started off on your wire at the top. Oops, lost it a bit. I'm rushing a bit because I don't want to make this video too long, because some of my previous videos have been very long, and it's rather tedious having to sit there and watch all that to get all the information. But like I've said before, what you can do is to do it in stages. Don't do it all in one sitting. You can always come back and do a bit more at another time, because I go into a lot of detail in my videos. They are quite often 2 hours, sometimes more, sometimes less. I've done quite a few videos that are under an hour. It depends what kind of flower I'm doing and how complicated it is, really. So I'm just going to readjust that there. That's it. Now I've already got one that I've put to one side a short while ago, so I'm hoping that that one is dried enough for me to be able to put the petals on. So I'm just going to pop that down there, get rid of that tape, just move that up there. I've already got some white fat on here, so I'm going to get some white paste. And I'm going to cut both the petals out that you need. There's 2 petals, and the cutters that I'm using, and I'll do a template online, but I'm going to put a few flowers on it because there's no point in doing just one with just a couple of flowers on it. Where's my other part of me? Just bear with me a second. So these are the 2 cutters that I'm using here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out some white paste. I'm only going to do one of these, so I don't need a great deal of room here, so I don't need a lot of paste for this. Roll it out very thinly. And then you can cut out both the parts of your snowdrop, that one and that one. You won't be able to see this until I get them back onto my yellow pad. Let me just lift that paste up. That's it. Here we are. So we get those off of there and onto my yellow pad there. and same with the centre one. And I've folded that over somehow. What have I done there? Ah, there we are. Oh, they are a bit fiddly to deal with, these, because they are very small. Probably a lot easier with cutters than it is to do it from a template. But they are tiny flowers. You can't do a larger version of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my silk veining tool, and then I'm going to take that. I'm going to put that on my hand first of all to do this. Whoops. Right, so I'm putting it on the edge of my finger like that, and then just go into that part, thin one way and thin the other. You don't need to thin your edges because we're going in with the veining tool to do this. Now this part is going to be on the outside because you don't really see the inside of these flowers, because with them being bent over. Another one, and then the third one, and then what you need to do then is to get that back onto your pad. Oops. I'm going to turn that over, and then you can get a ball tool, anything that's got a small end on it. I'm using this tool. I couldn't find my small ball, metal ball tool. Just go into the centre and just hollow that out. Just straighten those petals. And then I'm going to go on to the other part of the snowdrop, which is this one. Just get that onto my finger, and then again roll out both ways. Get that back onto there. Then what you need to do with this is to turn that over onto the non-veined side, and then you want your ball tool. I'm going to use the medium one for this, and then just from the tip end roll in like that, just to cup it slightly. Right, so once you've done that, now there's another stage that we need to do, and I'm just going to bring my kitchen roll over with the colour on it, and where is it? Ginkgo. I'm using ginkgo for this. We need to do this before we put the flower on the wire, because you need to colour it both sides. And what I'm doing here, when I find my brush, I've got a small brush somewhere. Is it that one? I think it's that one. And what I'm doing is I'm putting, hang on, it wasn't that one, that one. I'm going to put a small amount of green powder into the lid. Always use the lid as your, sorry about that, my plug had come out from my plug, so the camera kept going off. So again, back to the petal that we've got there. I don't know whether I put it on that bit that I've used there just so you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a bit of isopropyl, which I've got in one of these. You can get these droppers from your chemist, used for giving any ladies watching. I'll know what I'm talking about if you've had children, for giving them the medicine. And what we're going to do is on the petals, just in the centre, just bring that down to the centre like that, down to the edge of the petals. Like that. And then carefully turn that over, and do the same thing on the other side. You need to do it this way rather than dusting it on, because you don't want it all over the petal. You just want it on the edges, in the middle part. You don't want it all over, and it's difficult to dust in a small place. So we've done that. So then what we can do with that, get that onto your hand, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the base there of that, and get your wire into the centre like that. Then bring that up your wire. Oops. Up your wire to there. Then if you bring that down, and then just bring those petals down like that. Just very gently go around it and make sure that that's attached. What I would suggest you do at this point is let that dry before you put the next layer on. I'm going to carry straight on with it because I want to get that bit in, because I've got all my flowers ready. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. If you pop it into some foam upside down for the time being, then we go back to your other one. And this one you don't need to put any colour on it because there's no colour on this, so we'll just get rid of that out of the way. Leave your top to dry out before you put it on your pot, and then you can re-add some more isopropyl or white vodka, gin, or whatever else it is you're using. You can reconstitute it. And also clean your brush out. I have got a bottle here somewhere for cleaning brushes. In there we are. That's my isopropyl. Make sure you clean that off. Have a bottle with just a little bit of isopropyl. And this is quite clean because I've done the fresh one, so that gets that off your brush. Just in case you want to use that brush for anything else, you don't want it to have the green on it. Just pop that in there. And then I get my first layer, and then again you're going to go around the edge like that with a bit of glue. And into the centre, bring that down like that, and then you want these pointed petals to go in between the previous layer. Just bring that around a bit. Come round that way, that's it. And then bring those down like that, so they sit in between the other layer that you just put on. And keep that side down, so if you put it into some foam, like I've got some florist foam, put it in with the wire down like that, and leave that upside down to dry. Right, so we'll get that out of the way. So that's the flowers. Then you want some buds. So I'll just get another white wire. Get some paste again. Just need a small amount of paste for this. Wants to be about the size of a small pea. Just take a bit more off that. Like that. Put a tiny hook on the end of your wire. Just bring my yellow pad over so you can see what I'm doing. To move that out of the way. And then that wants to go into the ball of paste. And then you can start to shape it then. So you want to bring it up to a point this way. So that firms it onto your wire at the top there. And then go underneath, and you want to put a back on it as well. So just roll it between two fingers like that. Take a little bit of that off. That's gone off one side there. Now you can, if you want, divide this into three for your three outer petals, these here. That's up to you. It depends on how much detail you want to put in your flower. I'm not doing it for this because you're not really going to see it. Nobody's going to look that closely at it. Unless, as I said before, if you're going in for a competition, then yes, it is important that you do that. And if you do that, then you obviously want your cutting wheel. So I will do it for those that hard and fast perfectionists. And you go from the wide part of the bud up to the tip, turn it round, up to the tip, turn it round, and then up to the tip there, like that. Just make sure that that stays nice and pointed at the top there. And then what you need to do then is you get yourself a pair of tweezers or something like that, and then bend that over like that. So that's how that goes, and then put those to one side to dry. Now if we go back to the flower, I've got some green paste here. This is very pale green paste that I'm using. You're going to take a small piece of that, and I'm going to make a hip for the back of the flower. Now you could do the petals using the Mexican hat stage, but this is a lot quicker for doing it, and particularly for people starting out, it's probably a lot easier. So if you get your flower again, then put some glue around the base there, top of the flower, and then, oops, into your ball of paste, and it only wants to be tiny. Bring that up to your flower, there, and then you can shape it then, like that, and make sure it's right up to the flower so it goes right underneath. Like when you're doing roses, this is the same method, just a lot smaller, like that. So then you've got your flower already done with the hip on the back. So I'll put that back into my form upside down, and we can go back to the colour. Just get rid of that paste. Oh, sorry, do the leaves first. Right, so what I've done with the leaves again, 28 gauge wire, and there's no cutting out again, this is all done by hand. So what you need is a small ball of paste. That's too big, so I'm going to cut that in half. You're surprised how far it goes because these leaves are very narrow. So again, tiny ball of paste, so that's about the size of a petit pois or a new pea, sweet pea. Not your marifat ones, they're a lot bigger. Get your wire up into that and take it past the end, because we're going to roll it now and that's going to bring it up to the end. So if I get it on a flat surface and I start rolling like this, I'm just going to wipe that fat off of there because that's stopping me from rolling it about. It's sticking to that and not easy to roll, so you get rid of that. Or you can do it on your hand. I mean, if you're doing it, you can do it on your hand. I'm just doing it on here because it's easy for me to show you. So just keep going up your paste like that, up your wire, till that's just come past the end there. So that you need to narrow that down to a point, and then do the same at the base as well. And then, like I did in the last video, get a veiner, a large veiner. Where has it gone? Lost my veiner that I used. There it is, underneath the paste. Just get any large veiner. You're only using the back of it, the flat side. Give it a good squash, like that. So there you've got your thin paste. It doesn't matter about the wire showing through on this particular one. So just get it between your finger and your thumb and gently bend that back like that, and then with your finger and thumb just go up it and just bring that up so you've got a curved bit, and then pinch it at the end. Now here's a fact for you that came up on a programme yesterday on TV with Alan Titchmarsh, if anybody watches his Sunday morning programme. The ends of the leaves are quite tough because they have to push through hard soil with it being frozen. With unlike other plants, they need to get through the frozen earth, so the tips of the leaves are very hard and quite sharp, so they can push through it. I didn't know that. That was something that I knew. I learnt yesterday, so nice bit of useful information. Right, so once you've done that, then the next stage is to go on to the colouring then. So I've got a narrow green brush somewhere when I find what I've done with it. That one. I'm only using a small flat brush for doing this, so I'll just get my dust back again. Again, I'm using the ginkgo because they are quite a bright green, they're not a dark green. So get some brush on your, some white dust on your brush, and then brush up your leaf. You can rest it down if you want to put some more pressure on. This is still soft, that's why I'm being a bit careful with it. I'll probably have to reshape this when I've done. And then on the back, just give it a light dusting down the back for that. And then you can reshape your leaf. Then what we need to do next, and I think I've just knocked my brush on the floor. So I'm going to use some leaf glaze. That's a glaze cleaner. Where are we? Just get rid of those scissors back into my thing. And then just put the varnish on the front of the leaves. We never put it on the back because on most leaves you'll find that the front is quite dull, the back is quite dull and the front is shinier. Not all leaves are, some are quite dull, so steaming them is better because you don't get as high a glaze. But if you haven't got any glaze, then what you'll have to do is wait until they're dry, dust them, and then you'll have to steam them, and steam them, let it dry, and steam them again until you get it the colour you want it to be. So I'm just going to get my glaze cleaner and just clean that brush. Whenever you use the glaze, you must always clean your brush, because if you don't, your brushes will go stiff and then they're no good, you can't use them. Right, so that's the leaves done, so you can put that to one side to dry. And then if you get your buds and your flowers, and then what you need to do then is, just need that other brush, that one, some green powder on your brush, and then just brush the calyx on the back. Try not to get it on your flowers. Now there is another option with your flowers as well. You can see I've got the centres a bit big, that's why I did that the other way. You could, if you wanted to, dust the white petals with a white lustre if you want to make them shiny, because they are a little bit waxy looking and you get that sort of waxy look. So I'm going to go away now and I'm going to dust all these ready for the next stage. Right, so I'm back. So the only thing I've left to do now is to do the bud. I've already dusted all the backs of my flowers. And also as well, another thing that I should have mentioned as well is the wires. Because I've used white wires, you'll need to dust those with some some of this same green. So when you're dusting them, all you do is just basically finish dusting your calyx bit on the back there of your flower or bud that you're doing, and then dust your wires then. So if you just use the flat of your brush just to come down the wires. Now if you want to, you could use, for the buds particularly, you could use green wires, then you don't have to dust them. Or you could cover them with some of the Nile green Semtex, because they're quite light green anyway, so that's why I've used the Nile green and a sort of a bright green for the dusting. I've just missed a bit there. Just put it on the surface and you can get onto it there. That's better. Right, so that's the buds done. I've got all my leaves sorted out, so I've got different sizes, but you can mix all these up when you're putting the whole thing together. But the first thing I need to do before I go on to that is to bend all my wires over. If I can find where I put my tweezers. There they are. So if you just get your flowers and just bend them over like that, and then just go a little bit further back and bend it a little bit further, so they're coming down like that, and do that with all of your flowers. And I've got different lengths of wires here, so they're going to be at different positions. They don't all have to be exactly the same. Just make sure you get a quite nice curve on it rather than a sharp bend. Just get it underneath your calyx there, just go over with it like that, and give it a little bit of a twing there. It's a good name for a Monday afternoon, isn't it? A twing. Don't know what it means, but that's what I'm meaning, is to turn it over. Right, like that. So what I'm probably going to do in the next video, and I will put the templates for these on there, I'm going to use some small tulip cutters to make crocus. I think that I'll do that next. I don't think I've done crocus actually on any of my videos before, so this will be another new, because they'll be coming out shortly. I noticed in the park some are already showing in February, which is very early for crocus. I know they are an early flower, but that is very early. Right, so I've got all those bent over, all my buds are bent over, my leaves are all ready, so we can start to put it all together. So I'm going to get some half-width Nile green tape, and I don't think I've got any ready now. I'll have to cut some with my trusty cutter. So I'm just going to bring my camera up a bit further up this way so you can see what I'm doing. That's a stiff one. Just put my tape into my little cutter. For those that are new watching this, try and get hold of one of these gem tape cutters. They're absolutely brilliant. That end's not going to go in very easily. Try the other end. This is like watching paint dry. Just bear with me a second while I just get this in. Just get my tweezers to get it started. Usually it goes in straight away, but it's not playing ball today. Just have to get my tweezers. You don't want to be sticking your fingers in there to get this. No, that's not working. Try and straighten that out. Usually it goes in straight away, but today it's not having it. Ah, got ya. And I dropped my tweezers, never mind. Don't need them again. Right, once you've got your tape in, oops, pull it down a little bit, put your top down, and basically you just pull down on it. And that didn't cut through. This must be a bit blunt, this blade that I've got in here. Just start that off again. That's going in better this time. That's what should have happened the first time I did it. This is why I never cut these bits out of my videos, because it happens to people all the time. And you're thinking, well, why ain't it working? What should I do? What have you? But I mean, if I don't tell you, and there's nobody to ask, you won't know, will you? Right, so down on your blade again. No, it's not playing ball. Where's my other one? I have got another one somewhere. That seems to need a new blade in it. I don't know what I've done it. I have no idea what I've done with it. Do it again. It's probably me. It's Monday afternoon and we've had the weekend to relax or do whatever else you're doing on your weekends. For some of you it might be watching my videos, I don't know. You can always leave in the comments and tell me whether I'm right or I'm wrong. Right, there we are, I've done it. Where there's a will, there's a way. Right, so once we've got that done, we can start off putting them together. Now, we're not going to be putting these onto a wire because these are going to go into a small spray. So I'm going to start off with one of them. Oops, that's the sticky side, so we'll put that the other way around. Get your first one. Once you've got 2 or 3 started in them, you should find it easier. Get one started. Now what you want your flowers to do is to point outwards on your plant. Doesn't matter if they're level. We don't want everything to be exactly the same, because they just don't grow like that. That one's turned round, so we can adjust that. Just that one, so that's going that way, that's it. Put another one in. Mine are falling at different lengths because I've got different size wires on them, so we'll put a short one in there because they're quite tall. And another short one in at the other side, like that. And then we'll put some buds in between. That's quite a long bud. I'm going to go up there. There's not going to be any uniform pattern with these. All I'm doing at the moment is just putting them into the spray, and then I can adjust them once I've got them in. And you get all your flowers coming up in the middle, and then you get all your leaves round on the outside. That's why I'm doing it this way. Put another bud in there. Right, so I'm just going to tape down to the bottom with those. That's it. And then I can start back again where I started off with my flowers and start putting the leaves in. Now you want the shiny side to be inside, because that's the front of your leaves. So they want to be right down to the base of your leaves. You don't want the wires showing. They don't have a stem as such on them. So if you start off by putting some of these small ones in, the wire a little bit twisted there. And just keep putting your leaves in as you go along. You can start to bend some of them out a bit. We will bend them all out once we get them all in, but we just want to get them all in at the moment. But you don't want to damage your flowers, so if you find it easier to bend your leaves out a little bit, because they do more or less grow straight up. Like I've said before, if you do things exactly as they are in nature, sometimes they just look artificial. They don't look right. You can tell when you're looking at them. It's by eye. Most people can tell if something just doesn't look right. And if it doesn't look right, then it's not right. Same as I've said before about leaves. If it's a really flat leaf in nature, don't do it really flat in sugar, because again, it won't look right. It just looks artificial, which is what it is, but we're trying to make things in sugar look as realistic as we can. That's the whole idea behind it, and that's if you're doing cakes for people and you're doing flowers on cakes, that's what they expect. They want people to go, wow, that looks real. I had a lovely comment from somebody that I did a wedding cake for, and it's on my website anyway. If you've had a look on there, you'll know what I mean. The comments are at the bottom, and I put it onto the website because it was such a nice compliment that people had said the flowers either look so real or they look like very expensive fakes. In other words, the silk flowers that you can buy that look super realistic and are difficult to tell from the real thing, which I thought was a compliment really, because I mean, although they are made out of sugar, it's nice to think that people think that they look really expensive and classy, which is what we're aiming for. At least I am anyway. Hopefully everybody else in the business will be aiming for the same thing. It'd be nice to think that we're all alike, but there are some people that are not as good as they think they are, unfortunately. And you sometimes see these, I've seen them on Facebook. I mean, I'm not on Facebook now because I had a problem with them, but that's beside the point. There were people on there that had posted pictures of cakes that they got from somebody and a picture of what they actually wanted, and it was nothing like it. So I would hate to think that somebody thought that one of my cakes were like that. So I'm just going to tape down now. I've got all my leaves in. Bring that down, and then we can go back into your leaves now, and you can start to sort of bring them out a little bit. You don't want to bring them out too much because they don't spread out that much, but this it would be a spray to put on a sort of a spring cake or something like that, so you want them to look as natural as you can without being too sticky uppy, for want of a better way of putting it. And then you can bring your flowers out as well to go in between your leaves. bring that out there, that bud. Bring that one round there. So there we are. That's my spray of snowdrops. I was pulled out of the garden. I hope you've enjoyed this video anyway. Don't forget, if you've got any questions about anything, then leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, then you'll be notified when I upload new videos. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to hearing from people. So please get back, even if it's just to say that you like the video. That's fine with me. I love to hear what people think. And I'll see you in the next video. So take care, stay safe, see you soon.